and welcome to This Car Pod.
I'm Kennan.
I'm Crazy Nick.
And today there's a lot to talk about. Let's start with the A2.
The A2.
We got an Audi A2 here, and wow. Wow. What an experience.
I am very happy the A2 is here. I've only moved it around the office. I haven't driven it, but it's a nice little car.
Let me explain what happened a little bit. We posted this video, and everyone in the comments is like, Doug broke his rule, bought a car. I want to be clear about something here. I didn't pay for it. I'm not storing it at my home. I don't really plan to drive it again. I'm not on the title. Now, Nick on the other hand.
Hold on, though. What's the title of that YouTube video?
Well, we titled it that way.
No. It says, I bought a car. I'm going to be printing that thumbnail, framing it, and delivering it
However,
to you.
in the very first sentence of the video, I said that it is Cars and Bins bought the car.
I just skipped to the end.
That's what the commenters do. You know, I will say.
The biggest news story, Doug bought a car. Next story.
I will say two things. Number one, the lack of nuance is interesting.
Yeah.
And as you're a content creator and you realize that, you start to understand how some politicians can make their rises.
Well, funny enough,
it
too.
really hits you like, okay, you can really kind of trick people.
Yeah.
The other thing is, obviously, I didn't buy this car, disavow it. It's been sitting in the office for weeks. It doesn't have plates. Nick screwed all that up, by the way. What a surprise. But I am interested in a car.
You know, he just said all this stuff about nuance and then accused me of messing up the paperwork and not himself. But we'll not go there.
I'm not I didn't do anything.
Somebody told the importer the wrong LLC.
Sure, I did it all. I didn't do any. Okay. I was not part of it.
No, but there is another car that you...
I will say, I did not buy this car legitimately. It's not mine. It's not here. I'm not driving it. However, It's here. It's not my house. However, I am considering a car.
Yes, and fortuitously, an anonymous fan recently sent us a gift that arrived. It happens to be, it pertains to the car that he is thinking about.
Nick, some random dude sent us this.
993 Turbo.
In the right color.
In the right color, arena red. It looks very nice.
Just last week, I spent like an hour deep diving on 993 Turbos again. And I kind of am like, I kind of want one.
You've been sitting on this?
A little. I'm not like, I'm serious only in as much as if a nice arena listed, I would pursue it. But it's like a once a year occurrence.
Want me to hit up that guy in Jackson Hole again?
Oh, I forgot.
Remember on Facebook
Don't tell
Marketplace?
anybody about that.
Well,
there is no 993 Turbo for sale in Jackson Hole.
Good luck even if you find the guy. He responds in broken English with like tweet length responses. So you got to buy it blind, basically.
So anyway, the A2 is cool, and Nick's got his Multipla, but I am legitimately considering actually myself going back down the 993 Turbo. You got to find me an arena. I want a very specific car. That's why I have never pulled the trigger on it before. It's just like what I'm looking for is so hard to find.
I'll bet if it came up, you still wouldn't buy it. The market would value it too much. Someone would outbid you. You'd be like, you know what, I didn't buy it, then you'd be glad that you didn't buy it.
I am not willing to do the legwork.
Well, that is part of buying a car. So that does...
and I don't want to do it. So I openly admit that. And if a car fell in my lap, which by the way happened, like this week,
did actually
literally fell into my lap. It just showed up at the office. If that happened to like if you're a dealer out there trying to unload an Arena 993 Turbo, ship it to us. I'll pay for it. I'll buy the car, but it has to get here and I have to do nothing. And I don't want a Euro, and I don't want stupid mods. I want a stock U.S. ride height Arena 993 Turbo.
Really?
Don't care about interior color.
Yeah, and then here's the kicker. So what are you going to shell out for this? What do you want to pay for this?
They're worth like $200 to $250.
So you pay $250?
I'll pay. I'm ready.
Really?
I'll do it.
You're not going to do this?
No, I'm not, because they're not around. They don't exist.
Well,
and even so, this is another thing. You'll go down a rabbit hole, you'll be hyperbolic about a car, and then in 2 weeks, you still have not bought it, and you're like, yeah, I'm over it.
Of course, in 2 weeks, I'm not. This is... Look, finding a car like this, an Arena 993 Turbo U.S. car with mid-miles that's like usable, not low miles, not a zillion, but like mid-miles, there would be like a 6 month.
I know. It's the hard thing to do.
I'm not doing it.
And, you're going to fall short and not do it.
That's fine with me. In this case, that's fine with me.
Let me summarize the story then.
Yeah.
The news is Doug bought a car. Doug is a Porsche guy.
Yeah.
Doug wants to buy another car now that he's broken the seal.
Doug won't buy a car.
Great news story. What about some in the automotive industry?
No, I want to talk really briefly. The other person who bought a car this week was the other car news story.
Yes.
We got a Fiat Multipla.
The Multipla also in
house.
the background of your shot.
It is interesting to me having the two cars around each other as they've been basically since they arrived. Little twins, but not identical.
Nope.
Fraternal. The Multipla is a far more interesting car. One of the comments we've been getting is, Doug, I thought you learned your lesson from the A-Class. I did, which is why I didn't buy it. Like, I knew day one, I have no interest in this car, do not want to drive it, do not want to have it around. The Multipla, though, is still a boring car to drive, but just exciting enough that it's like not boring.
The windows going so low and so high, you feel like you're driving a fishbowl in a way that's disorienting, and like really, the A2 is comfortable, and like, if you can't see the exterior, you kind of think, oh, I'm just in like an old A3 or like A4, like the red LEDs, all of that looks just Audi. There's nothing in the Multipla that you don't catch your eye and think, what on earth am I? Like, I am driving a literal fishbowl down the freeway, and people are looking at me like I'm driving a literal fishbowl down the freeway.
And the climate vents that look like a robot.
In the middle, and then there's nothing in front of you. I mean, just so much weird
Well,
stuff.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I think the lesson here is if you're going to do this, a car that looks interesting like the A2 and the A-Class isn't enough. And I knew that with the A-Class, which is why I didn't want to go down this road. But a car that the Multipla is more than just looks interesting. It like is interesting and weird. I am curious how long this lasts.
Yeah, I agree. The novelty will eventually wear off.
And then when it does wear off, you're driving a 100 horsepower diesel car.
Yeah.
You can't really get parts for.
Agreed, although it makes a good commuter. Like it sips diesel and it fits all of your stuff. Like I think I'll have a use for it as a just normal go to the grocery store.
It'd be nice to get a title on it. Nick's been driving around no plates.
Well, I think that's actually what also adds to the driving experience. Like every time a cop goes behind you, you get this adrenaline rush, and you're like,
I ever just happened more than once. Yesterday, Nick drove me home from the office, and we get on the freeway, and he merges right in front of the California Highway Patrol, and they're the only ones who care about plates. Like the local cops,
SCPD, no, yeah.
But the California Highway Patrol, and the problem with that car is you can't do one of those like things like you see on Instagram. The guys are like looking at the cop because the windows are so big that if you start turning around looking, it's clear that like you're trying to hide something.
After I dropped you off, I got tailed by a Durango K9 unit, Camp Pendleton Marine Police or something like that. Like I was like, oh my God, they're gonna eat me if they like catch me. Like this is I gotta get home.
The dog's the other. A platypus. Let's go after it.
It does look like a giant squeaky toy.
Sick
in a way.
boys.
Okay, we'll talk more about the A2 and the Multipla in the Talk Cars segment, but that is news. That is legitimate automotive
news. The news, Doug is back on cars.
A couple weeks now, Cars and Bids has created real automotive news. The green Cayenne manual sale, and now the A2 and the Multipla. We are market makers.
Sure.
All right, move on to what's actually happening. Rubicon 4xE, the Renegade Gladiator is what it's called. Thank you.
Ruby Star Red.
They announced they were going to do a 4xE version. That is canceled. Flip to the next slide.
Did they never do a 4xE? Like they canceled.
They were going to do it and didn't. The Nissan Ariya, and I went to the press launch for the Nissan Ariya, and I remember how excited Nissan was to debut this car 3 years ago. Canceled. And move on to the next slide. Porsche has officially announced something that we were certain was coming.
Yes, they have said that they're slowing their roll with EVs, and that into the 2030s you will be able to buy gasoline-powered cars. Now, the market was not happy about that, so their stock fell on Monday by 7%, and also Volkswagen Group, which backed Porsche's decision to do this and said we will financially, support Porsche through this, also fell by 7%. So tough day to be. Well,
I have a suspicion the stock fell because by retooling their strategy, it's going to have an effect on earnings because they're going to have to spend money they weren't planning on spending into like redeveloping.
Yes, they did announce they reduced their projected profit margin from 7% to 2%, which is quite a whack.
Yes. However, this is the proverbial drawing the line on the thing to extend the life of the 911, just like what's his name, Schultz, Schutz, whatever. Peter Schutz. What was his name?
Peter Schutz, I think was it.
This is that. The Boxster and specifically the Boxster and Cayman have been, it is being said by Porsche now, the Boxster and Cayman will offer a gasoline-powered version, although they are implying that the base models will still be electric and it'll be the top versions, which are gas-powered. Which, by the way, that's actually a pretty good idea.
That actually, that sounds very appealing.
Make people pay more for gas-powered. That we want to anyway.
Yeah, like a manual.
Like a manual. So now this gives us a second opportunity for them to do a manual Spider RS. Maybe I don't want a 993 turbo after all.
And just like that. No, don't hurt it though. That's a nice model. No, don't hurt it.
Let's take it out.
Can we? Yeah, so take it out of the box and play with it.
Nick, no, so you have to leave it in the box.
Anyway, the point is big, obviously big decision, big news for
big
Porsche.
news.
But we have been kind of expecting it.
Yeah.
I'll never forget a year ago when I dropped off my Career GT for service and for the recall, and they said Macans are not selling. They're not even sold when they come in. It was like ding ding, the alarm bells are going.
I've seen so few of them on the road, and we are in peak EV country right here in SoCal.
Yeah, peak like wealthy EV country.
Yeah.
Like this is it.
Yeah.
If you're not selling them here, and they're okay. I see a few of them.
I see a
actually
few,
love
but
driving.
not that many.
No.
Like I certainly see more Model Ys and all of that from people that could afford the Macan, and are just like, I'm good.
Yeah, but again, it ties in. It is interesting because last week I talked about how Porsche felt that they were making the right decision with EVs.
Yep.
And then on Friday to have them go through all this, and then it's like, again, yes, maybe the right move is for the base model, and I'm sure the cars will be good because they will come eventually.
Yeah.
But it is interesting that
I'm going to make a prediction right here on the pod. Gas cars will be available into the 2030s and beyond.
And beyond. I do agree with that personally. For enthusiasts,
Like it's 25. Like it'll be 26 in 90 days.
Yeah.
Like it'll be beyond 2030. They will be mid-late 2030s into the 2040s. We'll still be driving gas Porsches.
Tax credits ended this month or is ending this month. So like, and
There
that's
will
going to
be-
continue for at least the rest of this administration.
Right.
So there's not really like, you can't price it competitively without those. So yeah,
There
I
will
can't
be a
see why
follow-up
people
to
would
Trump
bother.
who probably will moderate some of this behavior, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. But the world seems to have shifted away a little bit from EVs in recent years. It'll shift back one day. It'll almost have to.
I think it's inevitable.
But I think in the end, the EV world will win this fight. But it may not be tomorrow like we thought it would be. It may be like the day after tomorrow or next week, proverbially.
And I think that, again, if the mass number of cars on the roads are EVs and the infrastructure and clean energy then rises to meet the demand of electricity, I think that for normal cars is viable. And you can have your fun, interesting sports cars with a gasoline engine that are used so infrequently, like the impact on the environment is pretty negligible. I think that can exist realistically because that's what Porsche customers want, and that's what the customers of most sports cars wants, and that's exemplified in the values of cars on the secondary market, how they've continued to rise for these cars from the golden era, 05, whatever.
It's you hit the nail on the head that the last companies that should electrify are sports car makers.
Yeah.
We want the experience of it. Do that with your minivans, your SUVs, your commuter cars. Like the Cayman should really be the last car to go EV of the entire lineup from my perspective.
Why don't you have an electric car yet? You don't commute. Your wife doesn't commute. You drop your kids off at daycare near your house. What? Get it. Why don't you have a Nissan Leaf?
I've thought about a Leaf for like $6,000 or a 500e.
No, I'm talking about the new one. It's over there.
No. I don't buy new cars. I've never in my life bought a new car. I don't think I would start buying a new car.
Didn't you buy that Ford Focus new?
My wife bought that.
It's a technicality.
Yeah.
And what we're hearing today is Nick buys new cars.
I'm not on the title.
I'm not on the title.
Yeah, exactly.
You two just weaseling around. I gotta buy
And we regret buying that new.
Oh, well, yeah, you're on your third trans, right?
Yeah. So, I'm not, I think EVs have a purpose, and as I recommend them to people much like you do.
But why don't you buy an EV not a new Nissan Leaf realistically, but like a $16,000 something or other?
I work from home. What do I need gas efficiency for? My Arnage gets 8 miles per gallon. My Mercy gets about 8. Like, I don't even need a car that has like a dozen miles per gallon.
Fair.
The Multipla actually probably does 40, 50.
Interesting. That's fair. The Multipla, that's your gas-efficient car.
It's like an EV.
This is teamed up. I guess we already covered the next story, which is that Porsche's shares have all fallen and everything. Porsche's going down the tubes, for God's sake. Buy the old ones.
I'll say it does seem like they are going. Well, speaking of the 993, it feels like they're going through a tough time right now, which is wild because they make some of the most desirable sports cars around.
Well,
Everybody wants a Porsche.
Tough time in the sense that the stock price is going through a tough time. But I think it's important to separate the speculative purchasing of the stock from the brand itself, which continues to increase in sales and to offer desirable cars and to have a very strong brand name, one of the strongest in the whole world.
Yeah.
Porsche's fine. The stock price might be taking a hit because we're going to see some restriction in their profits and such with this new strategy. Porsche's fine. It's all good. There might not be some bonuses paid at the level that we thought they would be to executives over the next couple of years. They're going to be fine.
Says the big time Porsche guy.
That does scare me. about getting a 993 turbo. It's just such a good
You would
car.
become peak Porsche guy.
Mercedes and Porsche.
I'd have to get you houndstooth sneakers and like the
Oh, we could finally get him a watch.
yeah.
I have to start wearing.
It would be I guess I had a 996 turbo for like 4 months 13 years ago. And then I had the Carrera GT. Those are the only Porsches I ever had. Now I've had like 11 Mercedeses, including 2 right now.
You are actually a Mercedes-Benz guy.
Don't tell people that. They don't know that.
I mean, all I hear is how great the E450 All-Terrain is. You know.
The E450 Ultra.
The guy that's trying to buy my Mercy said, "Oh, I just picked up a 992 turbo," and I go, "Oh, my wife has a Porsche. They're great commuters." And he was like, "Oh, sick bird!" Like I'm just talking smack on him because he thought a Porsche was cool, and I'm like, "Nope, not impressed."
Have you ever browsed in incognito mode? Well, it's not nearly as incognito as you might think. Google just settled a $5 billion lawsuit after being accused of secretly tracking users in incognito. Their defense, incognito does not mean invisible, which means that all of your online activity is still completely visible to third parties. Your internet service provider, your mobile network, even the admin of the Wi-Fi are on at work and school. That's why you need ExpressVPN. It hides your IP address so third parties cannot track what you are doing online. It works on all of your devices, phones, laptops, tablets, so stay private wherever you go. And it's ridiculously easy to use. Simply open the app, hit one button, and you're protected. For me, I always use ExpressVPN when I'm traveling for car events or using hotel Wi-Fi. Everyone's on that same network, and I don't want my passwords or bank logins exposed. Secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/cars. That's expressvpn.com/CARS to get up to 4 extra months free.
All right. Move on to the next. Move on to the next. Oh,
yes,
something,
Bentley. So
something ugly.
a couple weeks ago, I talked about how Bentley was going to be coming out with. They announced they're going to be coming out with an electric SUV. Well, here it is, finally testing on the road. So we're getting closer. Again, I think that EVs, particularly in the luxury space, make a ton of sense because they weigh a lot anyway.
Yeah.
The motor really is not a part of the experience, although we love the W12. Really, what we love is the whoosh of performance, and electric just gives that to you, and it's silent.
This is going to be full electric?
Full electric. That was my understanding. So we'll,
Yawn City.
we'll see.
W12.
I'm shocked at how many.
We get turbo Bentleys.
Yeah, I don't like my turbo Bentley anymore. That's another story. I'm shocked at how many Spectres I see. Again, I know I'm in a bubble and blah, 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 but like plated non-dealer Spectres are around and like people seem to be into them.
Agreed.
So I don't think that this
And that's
is a terrible strategy.
very expensive car.
Yes.
But I'm just a little concerned about the EV adoption still is not great. Like, yes, it probably will look, I would imagine, not that different than the Bentayga unless they're going to call us a different model and style it differently. And so it feels like the electrified G-Wagon looks identical to the G-Wagon.
And it's going to sell the same, which
and
is
they
poorly.
don't sell them at all. So is this going to be the same thing with? But in this particular case, again, I think for luxury cars, EV makes a lot of
Maybe,
sense.
but
And
I
foreign
just-
markets.
Do those
the
people
Bentley
care
name-
about, having
Part
a
of the
V12?
allure of some of these cars has been the powertrains. And anybody can now get a Tesla that's incredibly fast, and that sort of has a luxury image to it, even though they sell as many as Honda Accords. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but let's be real. You ask most Bentayga owners what engine they have under their hood, they have no idea.
I guess. I bet a lot
don't
of
think
Bentayga
they
owners
care.
also have Teslas.
That's probably
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then this would be like no big deal to them.
I
I think it
guess.
matters less with the luxury segment than it does with the G-Wagon, which admittedly is luxury segment. but just
I'm
those
curious
trucks,
to see
those
what'll
people.
happen. I'm not entirely sure I agree. There was a plug-in hybrid flying spurt, didn't do well. What other EV luxuries have there been? Spectre is like,
Well, but the Spectre has been selling quite well.
it seems
so-
to be selling okay considering that it is a two-door coupe
Yeah, it's
in a world that
ridiculous.
it does not want a two-door coupe, and it costs like $450,000.
Right.
Yeah.
And like you said, the younger audience, like we talked about several podcasts ago, the younger people are buying them. And
Yeah.
that's become a great
Yeah.
contingent of Rolls-Royce owners. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious to see how it ends up, but
I just
it's
want
out
a
there.
turbo Bentley, man.
I got one coming up, no reserve.
Big engine turbo, but wouldn't touch that car.
6 3/4 liter.
2-valve.
All yours, bud.
You're going to get so little money for that car after all the stuff you said about it. Now, speaking of electric cars, we got our next news story, which is
The big one.
the big boy, the Aspark Owl. They've revealed a Roadster, which is amazing because they haven't yet revealed a coupe.
It's got 1,294 bajillion horsepower, 0 to 60 in negative 14 seconds. And
But it can spot a mouse in a field 3 miles away.
Yep. It can do anything you want it to.
Folks, the Aspark Owl has perennially been a source of controversy on this podcast, the butt of many jokes, because it's ridiculously named and it doesn't exist.
It's mostly the name, though.
It's mostly the name.
Yeah.
And now it's here as a roadster. And by God, I can't wait to not see any of these, just like I've not seen any of the coupes.
That's right. We went to Car Week. Didn't see it. There was one last year, but it didn't move under its own power, and we never saw it. And I suspect next year that'll happen again.
I do like 24 hours before this debut, they tease something new is coming. And then what they revealed is the same exact car, just with 5% less.
Do you think it is actually the same car and they just cut the roof off of it and painted it a different color?
I mean,
Like
that's
that other car?
Like what Lamborghini used to do back in the day with Bob Wallace. Like they would just drive the car between auto shows and paint it like in the parking lot, and it's a different car.
That's right. I think that might be exactly what they've done here.
Well, I, for one, am pumped about it. And you can see that the people around the car are also excited. For instance, this whole contingent of 20 of them are not currently looking at the car.
Yeah.
But I'm sure at one point they will.
Don't you think from this particular angle it does look a little owl-like? Like, do you see it? I see it.
It does look bird of prey.
I never liked how it looked. I never liked anything about it. I guess it looks a little owl. You got a little A on the Aspark logo there. What a beauty. What a dang beauty.
Yeah. Well,
This is going to be. You think this is going to be like the vector of our generation? If it ever
won't
comes
ever
out?
be desirable because it's pure electric.
I think a lot of people are going to cancel their Tesla Roadster reservations and put down an allocation here.
You know what this car costs?
TBD.
TBD. Yeah, I don't think they've ever said. Okay.
They haven't said because they don't know.
Because they don't know either.
They got to build one first to know how much it costs.
They got to figure out what the development costs all were and all that, but they're still developing.
They're just trying to scam investors. That's what they're trying to do.
Oh,
Instead of-
they're not scammers over at Aspark. They're going to make a car. They're going to make a car. God, look at this image, the Multipla and the Aspark Owl.
Yeah.
Right in the same frame there. And the
Two-car
993
solution.
Turbo. Here's a beautiful car. Look at this.
Boy, that is a tough. The 993 Turbo looks good, but
All right, give us our next news story. Ah, yes, the
A
new
Nissan.
Nissan Sentra. Okay, next news story.
yep. Do they put the front through a shredder?
No,
it looks
look,
very.
There is a new Nissan Sentra. I got invited to the press launch for this, and I said no because it's a Nissan Sentra. Mm-hmm. And unless the press launch was happening at my across-the-street neighbor's house, I wouldn't attend it. However, people did attend it, and apparently it's okay. It's an okay car.
I mean, yeah, it would be. Just
Kinda,
okay.
yeah. The problem with the Nissans, when they announce new Nissan sedans, they always have a beautiful picture where it looks like the luxury car like this.
Yeah.
But then you see it on the road and it's got 13-inch hubcaps, one of which is already missing OE.
Yep.
And, the LEDs have been replaced by like a row of bad halogens, and this whole front bumper is gray plastic.
Right, and it's being driven like it's a Formula One car through traffic.
I mean,
with no right.
within a year, it's like that. The new Sentras are already falling into those hands. Well, yeah, they are. So anyway, I've got high hopes, but they'll be dashed quickly.
High hopes, but low expectations.
It's exciting times for the procurement department of Hertz and Enterprise.
Yeah, no, true. This is going to be the car you rent.
Ugh. Well, that's thrilling. Next news story. Ah, yes, McLaren. So McLaren has announced recently that they're going to expand their lineup beyond hypercars and supercars. We've seen Ferrari do this, of course, with the Purosangue, but they've said specifically that they haven't gone as far as enough to say they're going to make an SUV, but they're going to make another car that carries more than 2 passengers. Now, of course, McLaren famously has built cars that carry 3 passengers.
Right.
The
That
F1
that could be intentionally tripping us up.
Right. They could be potentially tripping us.
could
It
just
is in
be-
the speed tail, but
There's a lot of possibilities. Could be an F1 type with 3 seats, although regulatory very difficult.
I would imagine, yeah.
Could be an SUV, which makes sense. Could be just a 4-seater,
Shooting
like
brake.
an Evora type car.
FF.
Yeah, could be.
Shooting brake would be cool. Dude, if McLaren did a manual shooting brake,
Oh, yeah.
I would still not be into it, but I would be kind of.
I'd be into it.
Yeah, but they'd find a way to.
Right, they're going to.
They've done every variation of the 720S possible, other than shooting brake. Here we go.
They're still doing variations of the 720.
I would argue that the speed tail is kind of a
Oh yeah, no,
shooting brake.
absolutely.
The entire company is a variation of the 720.
It really is long.
720S, all the variations, 720S, 720S Spider, 750S, 750S Spider, 765 LT, plus the Spiders of that, Speedtail, Sabre, Senna.
We're missing some, I'm sure.
We still got the bottom of the 570,
Elva.
600 LT.
Elva and windshield Elva.
Right, non and with windshield. So I don't know. But what was more interesting to me about this was they underscored that they're going to lean heavily on their relationship with the Chinese automaker NIO or NIO. And I think that's kind of an interesting partnership. I don't know exactly what they're going to do or if this is going to be more EV focused, which seems like the wrong decision based on what we've talked about so far. So I don't know. We'll see, but they've announced that something is coming.
I would do a curveball here and buy the Ineos Grenadier and make it a McLaren. Make it have it be like the Rambo Lambo to McLaren, like the LMO.
I've always felt that a missed opportunity for all of these sports car brands is making an LMO2 style vehicle.
It's got to be a brutish one, though.
Right.
We don't want like an edgy
totally
SUV.
British. My view is like if you're making the fastest road car, then make the coolest off-roader. Like who did that? Ariel. Remember Ariel had the Atom and then they had the Nomad?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And like that's what to me, like that's why the LMO2 was so cool. Like they already won the road car world.
Yeah.
Now let's conquer the desert racer world. Yeah, Ariel Nomad. And so cool. But instead, Lamborghini makes the Urus, which is just like a road. It's not the same. Urus has been great, and it's a great car, and it sells well. But it's not the same.
The G squared. I mean, like there's so many cool ways to do this.
An Ineos Grenadier style McLaren, I think, would be super cool.
And it meets their audience demographic really well. Like,
it does.
It's newer money, like they want.
Yeah,
it would just
want
it would
some
work.
fender flares and a boxy design, but they're not willing to like actually have an old Defender.
And they'll have low expectations for reliability, which will look perfect. It's got a BMW power plant, just like the F1.
You probably want to replace the power, make it a little faster, and probably a little bigger. Like make it bulkier.
They've got that Nissan V8. They've been
You'd want to
putting
be
cars
the
forever.
250.
I'm pretty
price
sure
point.
Ineos would be willing to accommodate those requests.
That's true. The French, if they're not striking.
Well, nonetheless, we wait with bated breath.
Bated breath. I'm excited to see yet another variation of the 720S, this time with 4 seats. It's now time to move on to the Talk Cars segment, and we have to talk about cars, and particularly our own car Xperia. My one was that the Countach is now in for service.
Yep.
Dropped it off today.
Me and Kennan dropped it off today, and it needs an oil change, and it was leaking from the front, which we think was brake fluid, but it's not leaking anymore, so I don't know.
And I could not find any sign from any line or the caliper or anything that it was leaking.
So maybe it's fine. But the Countach is, I've driven that car 2,600 miles since I bought it almost exactly 2 years ago.
I got to give it to you.
It's
that
pretty
is
legit.
pretty impressive.
Not a lot of people have driven 2,600 miles in 2 years isn't that much, but like when I have 6 cars and I don't live here for some of the year and it's a Countach, I try to drive it as much as I can.
I think there are owners who've never driven it that far the entire time they've had the car. Absolutely.
And brag about it. This one only got 4,000 kilometers on it.
Meanwhile, you and Harry Metcalf, the only 2 people driving it because Matt Ferris is in a million pieces somewhere. So.
There's probably other people, but they're not many.
Not many. But congratulations.
We'll see what the service it says, though. I'm a little anxious because I took it and the trunk latch had broken and then it just needed an annual. And but you find stuff.
You find stuff because it's an old car, but I have to be honest with you because I've spent a lot of time with your Countach, running it through its warm-up cycle while you're away and things like that. Car always starts, always runs perfectly, doesn't really leak anything. It is for as old as it is beautifully serviced, and honestly, I would trust that car to drive it a lot of places. And I've driven some exotic cars recently. That's not
I agree. I would drive it to Santa Barbara. I'd probably even drive it to Pebble. Honestly, it would be annoying.
It would be annoying, loud, hot.
My Bluetooth tape player would run out of batteers, and then I'd be like, "What do I do?"
You got to do it. All old car enthusiasts seem to be doing that. Just put AirPods in, and just go. You can turn, adjust the volume and stuff. Have you ever Googled yourself and been surprised by what comes up? It's kind of scary how much personal information is just sitting out there. Your address, phone number, even family details. All collected by data brokers and sold online. That's why I use Delete Me. Delete Me is a subscription service that removes your personal information from hundreds of data broker sites. You don't have to track all this stuff down yourself. You simply tell Delete Me what you want gone, and their experts handle the rest. They'll even keep monitoring over time and send you personalized reports so that you know exactly what was found and removed. It's been a huge relief knowing that Delete Me is working in the background to clean up my data, and I can't recommend it enough. Now take control of your data and keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me, now at a special discount for our listeners. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/DeMuro using the promo code DeMuro at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/DeMuro, DEMURO, code DeMuro. I like solving problems, whether it's fixing the Countach with Doug over a couple of cold ones or solving the latest squeak in the E39. Nothing is more satisfying than fixing something. That's why I've been using Claude. For a recent complex project that Filippo had me work on, I needed to connect insights across a ton of sources. Normally that would take hours, but Claude found connections over 50 plus sources that I wouldn't have spotted myself in a matter of minutes. It didn't just give me answers, it also helped me think through the problem that Filippo had me work on. Claude is the AI for minds that don't stop at good enough. It's the collaborator that actually understands your entire workflow and thinks with you, not for you. Whether you're debugging code at midnight or strategizing your next business move, Claude extends your thinking to tackle the problems that matter. Filippo has also used Claude's artifacts to quickly build an ROI calculator for some of our corporate business meetings here at Cars and Bids. Something interactive that he could share the same day without writing a single line of code. If you want an AI partner that helps you go deeper and actually extends your thinking, you need to check this out. Ready to tackle bigger problems? Sign up for Claude today and get 50% off Claude Pro when you use our link. Claude.ai/cars. That's Claude.ai/cards. Go there right now for 50% off your first 3 months of Claude Pro. That's Claude.ai/cars.
Nick has more talk car stuff though.
Oh,
let's talk.
God.
Let's start with the Multipla. So you took the Multipla to Big SoCal Euro. Is that true?
Yes, and Cars and Coffee. But Big SoCal Euro, they like shut down multiple street blocks. Like it's a couple thousand cars there. People loved it. It gets the reaction. It reminds me of my old Celine XP8 where the reactions are consistent. Like either what on earth is that thing? Or they give you a very specific memory of when it was like a nostalgic moment of their youth. Like, I studied abroad in Italy. I lived in Europe. My family, I rented one when I was there.
That's funny.
Like, so it brings out the best stories. And the excitement for you is like so pure and sincere rather than like, hey, cool Lambo, bro, or what have you. So like that part was really cool. One guy was like, I want to marry you. Like people were a little over the top with it.
Okay.
But it was cool.
I'm surprised there are people who don't know what it is at that kind of event. I mean, it's a car.
I think most people. It's a VW Audi thing. So like, I think the A2 actually would have done.
I know
better.
Big SoCal Euro, despite its name, is not for Euro. It's like a Volkswagen Audi scene thing.
Yeah,
I didn't even consider bringing the A2 until this moment, mostly because it's not mine and it's not at my house.
Nick hasn't finished the paperwork.
It's not yours. It's at your office and right behind you.
There's a BMW 700 here. There's a Viper here. You think that Euro van is mine? Should have brought that to Big SoCal Euro.
Oh yeah, probably would have.
That the A2 would have killed.
But yeah, it did great. Like people loved it. I brought the Murcielago as well. And then afterwards, we did a big photo shoot with the two cars together for the ultimate Italian two-car combo. So really fun day in terms of just like doing weird, quirky car stuff and like getting a million looks between the two cars.
So what are your thoughts on the Multipla? You've had the Multipla now for a month?
Yep.
A few weeks. What do you think?
I mean, I'm excited for when it's plated. That will help a lot. It leaks 2 different places. I broke the door trying to do a Whistle and Diesel impression, which I didn't realize, and I was like kind of miffed at the dealer for not disclosing it. And then Sam was like, watch your video again. You were opening the door and shutting it over and over again. So it worked when you got it. And you clearly broke it yourself, you jack. So yeah, but I think it's really cool. Like I'm super into it. It's fun. And it's like a good palate cleanser after the Arnage, which has just destroyed me. It's at the mechanic again.
No way.
Because
you're kidding.
I just spent
$3,000. Nick. Oh, because now you're trying to get
now I'm trying to get. I have an ABS light, a brake light, a circle with an exclamation point in it, which is just like a general warning that doesn't tell you what it belongs to, an airbag light, and a check engine light. So I've got 5 warning lights on right now. I can't sell it like that.
Can I ask you a question?
Nick, I would sell it like that. I would drop it on the site and disclose this car is best suited for a demolition derby, and
we could put project in the title.
My plan was to sell it on the site, no reserve. I am, just full disclosure, hitting people up on Facebook Marketplace for trades. Like if I could find someone willing to trade a salvage title Viper or similar, like I'm down.
Or a home dishwasher.
Yeah.
Right.
A good
rust-free appliance.
Well, my dad has a 67 Mustang and he's always wanted a Bentley, and like I think maybe he might be down to bargain.
Nick,
can I do this to your father?
I don't want to always be saying I told you so like I do to Sam and others.
Yeah.
But when you bought this car,
We stood right there.
Yeah, the Bentley lived up to every warning and expectation I had or should have had about owning a Bentley.
I was like really, really anti this
Yeah.
car, especially the way you bought it, which, as I recall, was
the
like
worst of the worst.
very sketchily from a sketchy dude
Yeah.
on Bring a Trailer. And then it shows up and it's even sketchier than it had been disclosed, to the point where they refunded your buyer's fee.
Yep.
You were stuck with this
That
thing.
one also had a door that didn't open, but I didn't do that one.
think, as I had suggested at the time, that if you had maybe spent a little more to buy a nicer car, your experience maybe would have been a little different in this vein, rather than a heavily used multi-owner?
You know,
I hate to give you a win. I think generally you are correct. However, I'm not sure there's actually that many nice ones. I think all of them have fallen into some level
But
of disrepair.
if you look at the ones for sale, newer ones with lower miles that have been well kept,
yeah, wouldn't have been
have
that
to be
much
a better
more.
experience.
I
they
paid
wouldn't have been that much more.
I paid 19 for the car, and I'm in it 15 in maintenance in 1 year.
So you're in the car for 35.
35.
You probably could have for 30.
Yeah, for 30 I could have.
Or even 40, and then you will end up getting more when you sell it. Because this car, you're not going to be you're going to lose real money in. If you had bought for 40 and sold for 35, you lose 5. This car, you're going to lose 15, 20 grand.
I've had a good experience, and up until the latest round of repairs, I would have disagreed and said I've enjoyed it. But this last one's really just like a gut punch, where I'm like, I'm done. I went out of this
a
thing.
gut punch that we all saw coming.
Yep.
But
There's usually a gut punch at the end of his ownership. The Maserati, remember at the very end, the alternator died, and it was like $1,500 when he was like about to get out of it.
And I was like almost died in the process.
cars you're ready to get rid of do have a tendency to do that.
Yeah.
It always happens.
Your
right at the
oil
end.
spill on the 355 as you were moving
Oil
it.
spill was 4 drops. But yes, it was something I did have to
Exxon
disclose.
Valdez 355s.
Right, yeah. Right, exactly.
This is he does it to you too. He says, I own the A2. He says you had an oil spill. None of that's
None of
true.
that happened.
However, if the right Arena 993 twin turbo showed up. Okay, that's your Multipla situation, your broken Bentley situation. Can you tell us what happened with the Range Rover, please?
Oh my God! I will make
Pull
this.
it up.
We'll make this one really short. I miss the Borrego P38. My wife misses it. My kids miss it.
What do you miss about it? It also was broken all the time. It was total crap.
It was broken all the time.
Do you remember when you took it
Kennan
to
had
that-
to jump me in the middle of an intersection towards the end of my
Do you remember when you
ownership?
took it to that shop in
Yeah,
Sports Arena and the dude had it for a month, and when you picked it up, the battery was dead and it wouldn't start?
It was 4 months, and yes, like he's like, it's all ready, and it wouldn't start, it wouldn't crank, it wouldn't open, it had warning lights, it was leaking. It's like, did you do anything? But all that
But this
being
is
said,
Nick's. Go to the one we just sold, where Nick was the underbidder on it.
Right.
you know, some people like have like I'm trying to think of how I can phrase this that won't get cut. Some people are attracted to life partners that put them in unfortunate circumstances and have bad taste in the other gender or
And
the same
you
gender.
are attracted to...
I am that way with cars. I have like Stockholm syndrome where the abuse is part of the appeal.
So this was a no reserve car.
It was a no reserve car, and I knew through the P38 community enough people to vouch that this was actually a really nice one, and it was cheap. And I had a conference call starting at like the top of the hour, and this was ending at like 9:57. And so I just threw a bid in at 10.
10.
And then that was the longest minute of my life watching that timer reset. The guy beat me by one single bid.
You almost ended up with another yellow Range. If you had done that, we all would have disowned you. After the Bentley experience,
I
after
would have been
already
so
having
happy.
one of these, Nick,
It's
But
a
it's a
special
disease
car.
in the in
when
a
you
friend group.
sell these cars, you're selling them because you're done with them.
He wasn't
I
done
wasn't
with
done
this
with the
though.
P38.
He sold it because the content arc had reached its conclusion. But I think that he wanted to go further with it, and he probably would still have it.
But he's over lowballing people on Facebook Marketplace on selling
Including
XP8s
for
again.
P38s. There was a Rhino
But you're
edition.
doing it on XP8s again. He was done with that one. We didn't even do content with that. He sold it willingly, and now he's trying to get another one.
You know why? I can relate to this because I've been having a tough time recently, and all you kind of want is that sensation of home. You go
Yeah.
back to what you know, and for him, it's those cars. He's been going back to those.
Actually, I might be buying an ML55 today as well, which is home because I took one to prom, an ML320.
Did you really?
Was my dad's car at the time.
Oh,
Yeah, a
What is wrong
98
with
first
you?
model year.
What is wrong with
Well,
you?
Ed got one at auction today, and he's willing to sell it to me very cheap.
Nick, stop this. Get rid of the Bentley first. You know what's funny, though? You know what car he never talks about wanting back? That Quattroporte.
that Quattroporte.
No,
yeah.
Rest in peace.
That happened.
That one when it's full arc, I'm good.
And I bet we'll feel the same way about the R9.
What?
It
pretty.
looks so cool and sounded great, but yeah, it was so normal. And
Okay, that is Nick's situation. Crazy Nick lives up to the hype. He imported a Multipla. He almost accidentally bought another yellow Range Rover.
And he continues to lowball people on Facebook
He's lowballing
Marketplace.
people on Facebook Marketplace, and his Bentley is in the shop for the 19th time, addressing 5 warning lights. Look, he's had the car for a year, and there's still 5 warning lights on.
Yeah.
Now, how many of these were present before you did the clock spring, out of curiosity, and you left the battery in?
Well, the airbag light was on.
Right.
Like,
And
1
so-
out of 5.
So some would say the fact that the manual said you're supposed to unplug this is probably on you and not on the car.
Serious PSA, unplugging your airbag. I thought it was just like a safety thing to make sure it didn't blow up in your face, which fine, whatever. But no, it messes your electronic system. That's why you do it. So take the time. But yeah, basically the reason I started a YouTube channel is I got so much stuff like this going on that I can't jam it into the car pod once a month when I join. So
You
shameless
gotta
plug.
follow along Nick's YouTube channel, which is his name, but he started introducing himself as Crazy Nick.
Right. It's just Nick
Trying to
Brashon.
hit some continuity. And
Oh,
also
wow.
give people something to expect since it seems like it was edited by a hamster on Adderall.
Yeah, no, and that's
There's
exactly
some
what
good
Nick
hamster
is.
in there,
This
but-
is good content. This is not the Maserati Quattroporte cold start, which I think
Oh.
was just in the Cars and Bids auction.
Did you hear that cold start though? Pretty tasty.
He's got some good
And my
stuff.
PCM,
His PCM was
wireless
best video
CarPlay
so far.
retrofit and Sam's dining room table with
And I think I was there, I think having
With
a
his
beer.
corn out
Literally
of the
having a
shells.
cold one.
The
walking
last
through this.
2 videos especially have been like banger videos that you should be watching. Nick is making real content about real stuff. And the next video might have a cheap ML55 in it.
me eating that Taco Bell in front of a relaxed back was for you.
I didn't understand, any
understand.
of that. I watched that part of the video and it, for me,
Right. I was just like, wow, Nick's
I
on
wanted
Taco
to
Bell?
show it being used in practical scenarios that Americans would. So I went through a drive-through and then I drove past a strip mall.
yeah, what the
Nick,
drive-through.
We're subscribed to you
Oh,
from the,
great.
from the Cars and
thanks
Bids
for the
account.
subscribe.
Okay, we got to move on to the market report. Market report. The market report is brought to you by Cars and Bids. No, the market report. Filippo's not here. He's not going to fight me. The market report is brought to you by Nick's YouTube channel. Go to
Yeah.
Nick's YouTube channel. Go back to it. Nick's YouTube channel brings us today the market report. Nick, thank you so much for the generous sponsorship fee of $0.
You're welcome.
$0. By the way, speaking of Hoovy coming up there, did you see that comment Hoovy left on my video?
Yeah, the vitriol.
I made a video last week. I posted a video. I actually record those Sunday videos. I record like 9 of them at once. So I made that video even before you were into the SLR. And the video was called Cars That Are Not Going Up in Value. It was right there, yeah. And this one. And it was a little bit of a controversial video, and I knew that going in, saying certain cars wouldn't go up in value. Hoovy chimes in. And the
gotta
SLR,
read more.
I said that the SLR was one of the cars that isn't going up in value. Hoovy chimes in and he says, "My SLR has been great," because I think one of the things I talked about was
Yeah,
how
it breaks in
it's difficult to own. So people say. My SLR has been great. It hasn't been expensive. Been going to the Indy, et cetera, et cetera. I think you put this in the video to help depress values so your cheapskate friend Nick can buy one. Now, 2 things about this. First off, I am flattered that Hoovy thinks that my Sunday content is anything more than me simply attempting to fill a hole in my video schedule. I'm flattered that he thinks there's more strategy to it than that. There is not. But most importantly, Nick is obsessed with the SLR now. He wants to get an SLR. The genesis of his obsession is as follows. Over the summer, we have a car group chat, and I got like really into SLRs over the summer. And I started texting the group thread about values, and no one would talk to me about it. And there's like 9 people in this thread, no one cared.
Yep.
So we get to Monterey, and so now it's August 15. We're in Monterey. I've already filmed this video. And I bring up the SLR briefly to Nick after having all summer mentioned it. And then Nick, like, freaks out. It's like, the SLR. Why don't I get an SLR? I should get an SLR. I could get an SLR. And to the point where he starts going up to random strangers at Quail, where we were when I brought it up to him, saying, "What do you think of the SLR? Is the SLR cool?" And people are like, "Who are you?"
He went up to this guy. It was just like the poster child for Gen Z, wearing like baggy, very cool clothes. And I was like, "What do you think of the SLR?" And he was like, "It's fine, I guess. I don't know."
My boy Brock. I love that guy. Yeah, and I do enjoy that. I've gone from crazy Nick to cheapskate Nick.
Nick Hoovy, who
And
has
I
an
can't
SLR.
disagree with either phrasing. Like both are accurate.
So Nick's been like kicking around the idea of buying Hoovy's SLR, which had a fire at one point, and put a Montana plate on it.
Yeah, also kind of guilty.
100% true.
Oh man, that is absolutely lovely. Anyway, Hoovie, I'm flattered at the thought that I had some sort of big strategy to this, but I promise you this video was reported before Nick's SLR obsession, but during my own.
And Hoovie, I'm interested if you want to, holler.
All right, we got to talk market
I'll
report.
give you 185 today.
I'll give you 186.
Have you ever gotten a message that just felt off? Maybe it promised something that seemed too good to be true, or it came from someone you didn't really know. I've definitely had a few of those, and it's a good reminder that when it comes to sending money, staying safe is everything. When it comes to your money, you deserve to feel safe from fraud and in control. And that's exactly what you can expect from Cash App. When you get the Cash App card, not only do you get access to perks like exclusive early concert pre-sales or discounts on popular brands, but you also get extra security. You can instantly lock or unlock your card right from your phone in just one tap. If a suspicious transaction pops up, Cash App automatically declines it and sends you a heads up to confirm that it's you. Your account balance is protected by 24/7 fraud monitoring, and if something feels off, you can always lock your card immediately from the app. With Cash App, you can spend, save, and live your life knowing that your money is right where you left it, safe and secure. Order a Cash App card today in the app or at cash.app/card. For limited time only, new Cash App customers can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real. Just download Cash App and use our exclusive referral code SECURE10 in your profile. Just send $5 to a friend within 14 days and get $10 dropped into your account. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services are provided by the Cash App Bank Partners. Prepaid debit card issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Instant discounts provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures.
We got to talk market reports starting with the RS4. Pull it up. This is the coolest thing on the site. Nick, tell us about the B5 RS4. You're an Audi man.
I'm an Audi man, and I am a B5 RS4 man in particular. Beautiful car. Actually, I was speaking to someone at Big SoCal Euro who had owned one of these. And he actually brought his imported S2 to the show, which was really cool. But he's like, most of the parts are actually shared with an S4, so servicing it is not as difficult as you'd think. Like the Cosworth particular parts
I don't understand.
are findable and gettable, but like the water pump and like the belts and all that, like same as maintaining a B5 S4. So this guy runs Pacific German, but he's like, no problem. Like that's easily serviceable.
Really?
It won't be an issue.
I've heard that from other people.
Yeah.
But I don't understand it.
Because that's been the only thing holding us back a little bit was, okay, if it's Cosworth tuned, never sold here, how hard will it be? And then the local San Diego shop here says we don't work on B5s, period.
The
because they're too
local
high
shop here won't work on B5s. But my understanding was that it wasn't just Cosworth tuned, it was Cosworth's engine. Now, I look at the listing, it's a 2.7 turbo V6,
Yeah.
which suggests to me it was Cosworth tuned.
I think
because
Cosworth
the regular one
breathed on it, but I don't think it's
Pull up the engine
proprietary
photo.
to Cosworth.
It looked so meaty. That engine
yeah.
in there looks so meaty. That's not what the regular B5 S4 motor looks like.
Yeah. That's the same engine cover.
That's interesting.
But regardless of that, it's
Pull up that one. That's a nice
they're now 25 years old or approaching that. So I think we're going to start to see more. Some were federalized and brought in. Some were not.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter
Some
now.
will come under the 25 years. So we're seeing values all over the place. From like, I think I've seen the highest mileage non-blue one go for like 60s to like the nicest of the nice hitting 200 because it
We
had no
sold,
miles.
type in RS4 Avant. We sold a crazy.
I was an underbidder on one on the site.
Yeah, so we've sold a few now. This one was a nice 191. It's important to make the distinction, as you just did, though, that
Nagaro blue is everything.
blue is everything, but also there was a time, this car sold when it was only 20 years old when it was federalized.
Yeah.
The cars are now 25. In fact, I suspect, although I don't know this, I suspect that's one of the reasons why they're selling it, because they're just on the cusp of when
Right.
the car becomes not having to be federalized anymore, when
Yep.
you can just bring it in at 25 years old. I suspect we will see more of these.
2001 is really where they started to hit the stride with production. So, and they do go by the production date, not necessarily the date on the.
When you go back to the
like,
listing
dealer sticker.
of the ones that we just had, we actually have already had our first 25er come up. It was this one in France that didn't need to be federalized, which just no sale at 65, which I think is a pretty good indication of where the market is going to start valuing these
For a
cars.
silver one, that's like it's a good car, but not anything to write home about.
I will say I drove the blue one that we have listed. I drove it back when we sold it the first time because it had been on the site before.
Yep.
truly one of the great driving experiences of my entire life. I have always loved the B5. I had a B5 in college. I've always felt that platform size was fantastic. I love the steering feel. I love the handling. I love the size of the car, how tossable it is. But I always felt in all the other B5s I drove that it was just it wasn't right. It was a little too much understeer. It was a little too underpowered.
Yeah.
I got in this car and it was like it all came together.
It fixes everything you didn't like about your RS2.
Yeah. And everything I didn't like about my B5 A4. Like it fixes both of those issues. And the only thing holding me back has been reliability, but that's interesting to hear.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Where is this Pacific German located?
Orange County, I believe.
Interesting.
You're not doing this.
Laguna Hills.
You're not doing
Why shouldn't I?
You're not doing a 993. You're not doing this.
You know why I won't do the RS4?
Because you're off cars.
There's other things looming. Whoever sent this to us, unbelievable timing. I hadn't even thought about the 993 Turbo in a year. And then I just got on it.
Well, thank you to whoever it was. It truly showed up anonymously.
The A2 has opened the floodgates for Doug buying more cars.
If anything, the A2 reminds me of why I do not like to buy cars. We are in title hell with it right now.
We're not. I got all the paperwork together except for one.
Right, except for one.
And the one is the one we need to title it.
It's a bill of sale.
We're in title hell right now with the A2. We are in, I want to get this in my shot. There we go. We're in title hell with the A2. Driving it is not that great. Anytime anything seems like it breaks, you're screwed. You got to deal with, I hate this whole process. I like this is why I limited myself to a 4-car garage. I like the cars I have.
Yeah, that's why I've limited myself to one.
But look at this. Don't you want this instead of your M5?
No, but it is
so cool.
It is really cool.
You would rather have it.
I'm excited that they're coming up for sale. It's something I've waited for. The B7 RS4, when it comes, I'll be even more excited about. But
B7 RS4 Avant is.
I'm hoping a couple more of these hit. Now, I've heard two theories since this is a market report. One, that when the 25-year-old cars come, it drives up the market and demand for all of them and doesn't actually hurt the ones that were federalized before in terms of
Which
value.
has happened to the Skyline.
And then I've also heard, hey, if supply exceeds the demand, then obviously it depresses the values of
That's going to happen here.
That's going to happen.
I have a suspicion that's going to happen here because I don't think there's quite enough demand.
It certainly hasn't happened yet. So it depends on how many people bring it.
I would argue, though, that 65 result on that French car shows you kind of where the market's going to end up being. I think that 50 to 70 is where these are going to settle, whereas with the federalized ones before, you could see those values. We were getting 90s.
Yeah.
80s, high 80s, 90s.
I think those were very strong numbers, though, because those were so rare and they were very good specs, very low miles.
I agree. But regardless, once these cars can just be brought in on any boat with anybody, the federalization process was not tremendously challenging for this car. This company in Maryland did it years ago, but it was nonetheless
I told our importer buddy, put these on the list, especially if you find like Goodwood Green or like a special rare color or Nagaro.
Nagaro.
This is the color.
Give us the other very interesting market report, Kennan, about the BMW situation.
Yes. So recently we sold a BMW E30. This is known as the Italian M3. It's the 320 IS. These cars are selling for real money, $54,500 for an E30. Now, E30 M3s are. We've sold a couple for like notably in and around that number.
I think about this car all the time. It was so rough, and it only sold for $39,000.
This one was rough.
I like this would be such a good car to just like beat on and just not care about. But you have an E30 M3,
right?
Anyway,
but this one was relatively nice, still a driver, and it sold for $50,000. And this 320 IS recently sold for more.
Yeah,
and so it is great. Now, granted, this did have an S14 in it, a detuned one. It's the same engine as the M3, but smaller. Because for tax regulations, I think that's why they put it in this car, so it could. In Italy, it was particularly
at the time there was a higher tax rate on cars with an engine larger than 2 liters, and so
3, I think maybe.
No, it was a 2 liter. It was 2, and that's why. Remember the other car that came out as a result of this? Ferrari
the turbo
208.
They made not only did they do a 208, then they followed that up with the Ferrari. It was called the GTS Turbo, and it was a 328 with a smaller engine and a big turbo. And the graphics on the
virtually nobody knows this, but Ferrari made for the Italian market only a 2-liter version of the 308 and the 320.
Wow.
And the reason they're not known is because they've never left Italy. It's not like a car you want to go after. It looks just like a 308.
Slowest prancing horse.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But on the back, and there was a 208 GT4 also, and on the back it literally says 208 instead of 308, and that's
does look good still.
Unfortunately, the situation.
I know someone who has driven one, and she told me it was terrible. So yeah, it said turbo in those like
turbo
top. Yeah, just so deep.
But the BMW is prized.
The BMW is definitely prized. Now there are several versions of the E30 that are not M3s. The 333, I believe for the South African market, they also did a 328 IS, I believe, specifically for the South African market, just like the 333. But nonetheless, it shows that people really
Very
want these
special
cars.
car.
And
the
it
cool
is.
thing about it is that it was the M motor, like you said. So that's cool. But also, it was like the latest, weightest, tossableist kind of thing. Like it was, if you are a purist who just wants like a really stripped out, like fun, throw it around car, this is that. They did a sedan and a coupe.
Exactly, and it's more if you know, you know.
Yeah.
Amongst the BMW set, if you show up in this tube,
Yeah, you're
you know,
legit.
Anybody
Anybody can get an E30 M3.
Yeah, I got I got the Italian M3.
The Italian M3.
The Filippo M3.
I didn't really realize that it was a detuned S14. I thought it was just a 4-cylinder. So this actually is an M-powered car. Did it have a WBS VIN?
WB, no, because it was also. Yeah.
That is a cool car. I am shocked at that number, but I'm thrilled that we got it and that it was such a nice car that we were able to sell.
Definitely.
Very cool to see it.
Definitely, I totally agree.
Well, I want to talk Gen 3 Viper before we move on to the questions.
Yeah, hell yeah. Oh, sorry, I just typed in Viper.
We've been talking a little about Gen 3 Vipers, but it's time to do a whole thing. Nick, you wrote this down. What's your take on this?
I'm sure y'all can chime in more. I just look at the number and I look at the picture and I say, buy. Like 30s for a car that looks like that with a V10 with 500 horsepower. I really don't need to say much else.
What do the trucks
or know
cost?
much else.
What do the trucks cost?
Like an SRT10, the quad
like
cab or
two-door.
standard. You can get a 20 buys you kind of a rougher one. 30 buys you a good one.
So the truck is not more expensive.
And maybe 50 buys you like a super low mile VCA one or something.
This is a 25,000 mile
So
car.
like
It's sold for
20
33. How many miles were on the Viper?
Yeah.
The trucks are not more expensive.
They're almost on the same
Or the
price point.
Viper is
Yeah.
not more expensive than the truck.
And getting a
65.
silver Viper truck and a silver Gen 3 Viper of the same, like they're both 2003, 2004, like
70 will buy you the pair.
pretty
I've
sick.
got
20
20.6 liters.
Dude, that's crazy. That is pretty wild.
I know. And just,
16.
like, yes, you have one in the office right now. We've all kind of looked at it. Sure, the interior's a little like not great, but good enough.
I
like
will
this
say,
is a fantastic bargain.
There's one sitting in the office. It's been in the office for a few weeks. I'm going to review it and we're going to post it on the site in a couple weeks. I had kind of, like most people, I had kind of ignored the Gen 3 Viper for a long time because the 1 and 2 Vipers had that famous design, and then the later ones became so crazy and cool. The 3 was always kind of the stepchild of the Viper world, but it is a lot of car for the money.
I think it's good looking.
Ton.
It's definitely good looking. It doesn't have the cool look of like the original or the Gen 2, but what a...
first gen.
He just wants to look at first gen.
Yeah.
Well, first gen is
Look
cooler
at that,
looking.
though. That is such a cool car.
Yeah,
Like-
I agree. Red with the chromies. That's I really like
So
that.
35 to 45 buys you a nice one.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good car
It's
for that. Especially 'cause
fantastic value.
It must be cheap to own. You can get in and out of it. Why don't you get one of these?
And I think they fixed a lot of the Gen 1, Gen 2 issues in terms of like it's still not an easy car to own, but you're not going to like burn your
Gen 2
leg.
was already pretty easy.
Yeah.
I have to say that it is. I drove around one we have in the office, like I talked about, and it is still
You
scary.
look good in it.
Thanks. I do suspect I'm going to end up with. The
It is a
third gen, 'cause I
raw
really like
car.
it.
How
Yeah,
come you don't
it's
have
raw.
one of these? Why isn't this on your
On the
Because he
list.
wants the truck.
I do want the truck first, but I would settle for
The
one of
quad.
these. Yeah. Quad for the kids. I would like the manual, and you could swap the manual, but it's
You
not
could-
really worth it.
Oh, you could get both your kids into the single cab legally.
Sitting them in the front. I'm not both.
Yeah, it's a bench.
That'd be
It's a
sketch.
bench for the manual.
Even
Rare.
Even
My kids would kick the
Yes.
shifter out of the gear.
rare since like being
It would
the
not be
Red
worth
Scare. Yeah, I guess. But like, yeah, even he thinks that's sketchy.
And a quad cab would be super usable. Like you could use that.
Yeah, but it's a
for
tip.
everything. It's fine.
Maybe for you, not
You could
for
do
us.
better
Not for us.
burnouts.
We're manual guys.
That's right. But yes, I agree with you. Third gen Vipers,
Unbelievable.
I think, are just a tremendous value. 33.
they should be
for
worth
this
double
one.
that.
Okay, we got to move on to questions. You can ask us questions, and please do, because this week's crop of questions was only okay. You go to carsandbids.com, you click on the community tab. For God's sake, there will be a post there that says questions, and then ask your question. We want your questions. It does. If you remember late in the week, I should have asked them a question. Go into Cars and Bids and ask it to us. I will find your question. I scrolled to the very bottom this week looking for good stuff.
We film on Wednesdays though, so late in the week won't really help us.
Got to be done by probably Tuesday morning, mid-Tuesday.
Late in the week, we mean Tuesday.
Ask us a good question, and I mean good as in controversial. Give us some fury. We like Fury, like that guy who asked if we have beef with Matt Watson from CarWow, which we don't, unfortunately. I wish we had some controversy, but maybe a question asker can give us some.
Matt's great. I don't know, but
Okay, first question from Lambo Guy 565. I'll let you guys take this one because I already have a good answer in my mind. What car screams, I know nothing about cars? And I want to preface this by saying we all know like a CRV or a RAV4, but like what enthusiast car screams, I know nothing about cars?
SF90.
Oh, wow. Damn, you really went there hard.
I mean, kind of. A lot of usually if it's new and kind of flashy, and someone says the model name before saying the manufacturer, so just like SF90 Ferrari, it's like, you don't know anything about cars.
It is weird when people do that.
They do that. The 911 Porsche. It's like,
I got a 911 Porsche. Oh.
that's like, okay. You're
It's going to be one of those conversations.
You're about to hit us with a fact that is completely inaccurate.
Yep.
And Nick's going to fall for it and regurgitate it somewhere.
That's exactly what happens.
But I think, any like the new, like I'm... Like if I see that, or if honest, kind of the 296. Any of that.
Can I tell you something on this subject? But it's now we're on a tangent. I drove this week the SF90 XX.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. Is it under embargo? You can talk about it, right?
I loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a great car to drive.
I absolutely loved it. And I've been the biggest complainer about the SF90. And so I get in this thing with low expectations, and it was awesome. Absolutely awesome.
I'm sure.
Raw. It felt like a 430 Scoot. Like the SF90 it was nothing like an SF90. It was so much more raw and visceral and loud and powerful and like trying to kill you. It was so cool.
So do you think they took that and then dulled it down and gave us the SF90 and then...
It's funny because on paper it's not different. It only has 30 more horsepower and it weighs only 20 pounds less. It's like, okay, that's not going to be different.
That's
it's
how
different.
it delivers.
It's how it feels and how it delivers it. All the leather is out of the interior. It's just like you see welds. Like it is like a 430 Scoot, and it's so loud and so like raw and
Looks
rough.
cool too.
Yeah, it's $1 million, but I was really into it.
$1 million.
Yeah, I drove a Spider. It was $1 million. Anyway, my answer for this is brand new Maserati. Any brand new Maserati
absolutely.
is a person who thinks they are a car enthusiast and like thinks other people will perceive them as such.
Yep.
But a real car enthusiast looks at them and is like, no.
I was gonna go with McLaren GT.
Yeah, although
Yeah.
that's getting down to a price point where it's starting to get appealing.
Maybe, yeah, used one for sure.
If that thing's 90, I mean, why is it different from another McLaren? Like at least the GT's a little newer and a little bit more. Yeah, these. I mean,
just
They're
looks so
coming
young.
down. That was a year ago too.
yeah, this one bid to 131. I have a suspicion this car's at 90 in about 18 months.
That's true.
Start to wonder.
MP124C, you look at it and think that guy is awesome, and I want to talk to them because I want to know how it is to own it, and like,
But don't you
they
think
must
that
be
car's-
very like pain tolerant.
Right? Don't you think
Yeah.
that car's too risky to own?
I just assume most of the people in them right now got tricked into them by a dealer because they didn't know any better and are therefore total putzes. No offense to the McLaren GT owners that are listening to this, all three.
I love the McLarens.
yeah, we all do.
Great cars. No, I do. I think that those cars at a number makes sense, which is one of the
Agreed,
reasons
agreed.
why I specifically am saying anybody who buys a new Maserati.
I've been using that line on all the SLR dealers. That car at a number makes sense. The number you're asking, not as much.
Nick called an SLR dealer the other day, and they replied to his lowball and said, I respect the offer. I cannot sell the car anywhere near that price.
I was only 75K less than their ask. I don't understand why the hostility.
I'm sorry, was that question an enthusiast car? What was the
I would
question?
think of it as enthusiast cars. What car screams, I know nothing about cars? Because you
Or
assume
car.
that most
Yeah.
cars scream that.
Yeah.
Right.
I think the
G-Wagon
question is
and-
more along the lines of like, what car that is supposed to say that you know something?
Honda Prologue would be.
Yeah,
I didn't do
of
my
course.
research. I just like Hondas.
Right, yeah, of course.
There's a
some
few in
obvious
there
ones.
that are regular cars.
Next question from Sturdberger. This is a good one. What is your holy trinity of YouTube podcaster or TV car show personalities? Context, if the three of you were to go on vacation for a week, who would you pick to host the pod in your absence?
Well, there's a specific,
Whistling!
Interesting. There's a specific group of three that is the best that have ever done it.
Yep.
You know, the Top Gear trio.
That's obvious.
That's the obvious one. And it is obvious, but it is also true. Anytime three people are on camera, if they're talking about cars, they're who they get compared to. Rightfully so, as they were the best.
Yep. So
But
for you,
but-
it's them. But give me
but
something. Who
something
else do you
more-
like? Who else do you like? You agree, Whistling.
to replace.
We would be on this deserted island with them. Though.
No, God.
Whistling would destroy me.
God, you
wouldn't last a minute.
No
No.
offense, you on a deserted island, I would.
You're on.
eliminate you
We
pretty
go on
quickly.
vacation and they come and replace us for the week on the pod. Who would we
like a
choose to
stand-in.
stand in? Nick,
That's what I am, though. I'm here because Filippo's
the
not
question
here.
takes 11 seconds to listen to process.
Well, I started thinking about who I would pick, and then I realized I can't say that I'm allowed, so I have to.
Like, who
Fine.
are they? These are like OnlyFans creators, or why can't you say them?
No,
aloud?
they're car YouTubers.
who?
April, Colette, and Sabrina.
Okay. Why can't you say them aloud? We need to cut all
My
this.
wife listens to the podcast, and I've been in enough trouble as is.
Okay. Okay, Nick. Who would you choose?
I would choose the three of you. Can I
I'm
do
glad
that?
you listened to the question.
No, it has to be people when we go away. Who are we picking to replace us? I've selected Whistling. He said the Top Gear guys, which is kind of a cop out. What is yours?
I'm thinking more.
I would say my favorite two car YouTubers right now would either be Rich Rebuilds because I think he's the funniest,
Rich Rebuilds would be great.
or Alex from Legit Street Cars because I think he's the most knowledgeable.
Okay. Rich Rebuilds, I'll take. I like Alex too, but I'll take Rich. I want to change my Whistling to Rich, just because I think Whistling would not do well in a talk
Rich
show
is
format.
so underrated and so funny.
Yeah, dude, totally agree.
It would be more of a podcast for me because it would be very technical and nerdy. But I think Harry Metcalf, Emery Catchpole, and probably Chris Harris. If I could have those three,
Yeah,
all
that would be
British,
good.
but if you could have them, it would be much more pleasant to listen to.
Yeah.
I think than us.
I'd
But
throw
I think
a
those
wild
guys-
card in for regular car reviews too, for the same
Oh,
reason.
Brian,
humor.
yeah, Brian
Rich,
and
though-
Roman, both of them. would be
Rich,
great.
though, is the funniest car guy on YouTube.
Yeah.
Rich, Hoovy, and Freddie. Throw them all together. One time, when I was at Amelia, like 10 years ago, I had lunch with the three of them and me.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that must have been incredible.
Right?
Just
it's
be there
like
as a
when
fly
Harry
ball.
was there when the Carrera GT was debuted at Paris.
Right,
I was
which-
sitting there with luminaries and also Freddie. Just kidding. Love Freddie dearly. Okay, next question. From EHM 600, this is a great question because it's going to out Nick as for what he is.
That's hard to do.
Tell us about the cars you all grew up around.
Oh.
What were the cars your parents and friends had growing up? What did you drive in high school? Kennan and I were poor children. Our parents had Geo Metros with 3 wheels, and we, as young children, had to lift up the other corner of the car to take it to school. Nick, on the other hand,
You grew up on the water.
Nick, tell us about
Parents,
your
father's a
privileged
doctor.
life.
It's in Sandusky, Ohio. Okay, it's not quite as bougie as you're making it sound.
You had watercraft.
We had boats. Yes.
How many boats is boats?
9, right?
Do you count ice boats in the number?
What?
like an
had-
icebreaker?
3 sailboats, 2 ice boats.
What
I
are
think
ice boats?
two-
Like they go on the surface?
Yeah, when the lake freezes, you
Okay.
can sail
I don't
on
count
it.
those
Yeah,
because
with
they're not
skates.
water boats. So three sailboats, 2. What was the next one? Yachts.
Two ice boats, and then 2. We had a 14-foot roundabout, like a whatever car, a smaller boat, and then we had a 33-foot Boston Whaler Outrage.
They bought an Boston Whaler Outrage. Okay. Of
course.
What about the vehicles? Tell us about the vehicles.
My dad actually had a little flair for being dangerous, so he bought an X-Type, the first model year, Jaguar. Didn't end up being great. A Volkswagen Touareg first model year wasn't great. So then he decided
He had
to
an ML320 first model year.
that was actually the only car that was great. We kept that one for like 15 years, and then ended up like donating it to charity at the
Those
end.
were reliable.
Yeah.
It turned out to be reliable.
Those were all good. My mom never really had any. She mostly had minivans. Like an old Silhouette was when I got my first
You
speeding
had a
ticket. in.
Silhouette?
Yeah, beige
What
on
gen?
beige.
What gen? Dustbuster or Next?
We bought it new when I was in high school, so let's call it 99, 2000.
Okay, so it was the bad gen, the boring
Yeah,
gen.
the Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
era,
yeah.
And then I had a 95 Ford Explorer. I was in a car group at the time. The other guys were a Ford ZX2, an SN95 Mustang, like a Grand Am GT.
God, this is the Midwest.
Yeah, very Midwest
This
selection
is
of
the
cars.
absolute Midwest. When your dad brought home that X-Type, it must have been like a huge deal.
It had 18s. Like it was a big deal. The black Burlwood.
3-liter. It was a 3-liter.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Must have been nice.
I'll send the editors the photo of the Explorer, but I put in 18-inch chrome wheels, clear taillights, billet grille with flames
What
behind
did
it.
your- what happened
3 12-inch subs.
after the Touareg? Like when you went off to college, what did your parents have?
My dad just started buying MLs, which became the GLE. Every like 3 years, you lease a new one as a company thing. So my mom got an E450 coupe at one point, but she didn't really care for it.
I was brought home from the hospital in a 1987 Toyota Camry or a 1981 Volkswagen Jetta coupe. I don't remember.
Tough for you to recall.
My parents, my entire life, basically, the car that we had was a 1993 Isuzu Rodeo with a manual transmission, steel wheels, and that was our family car.
Wow, it's very recent.
No airbags. My parents had looked at an Explorer. We couldn't afford an Explorer. They tried to make it where they wanted it so bad, couldn't do it. Bought an Isuzu Rodeo instead.
Those are cool.
From Jerry Roth Isuzu in Denver. Or in Aurora, I guess. And then they had that car basically until I went off to college, pretty much. That was our family car. And I remember it was a 2-row. And sometimes when we had friends over or whatever, we were just told to go into the cargo area and like, if we saw a cop, like bend over, so the cop wouldn't see it. And that was our...
your child.
That was our car. My dad replaced the 87 Camry with a 98 Camry with a cassette player in 98. There was no CD player. My dad couldn't spring for the CD player one. So it was a 4-cylinder LE with hubcaps. Those were our cars.
Wow.
That was it. That's all we ever had until I was already in college and away from the whole thing. Base model BS.
My family, I grew up in a Ford family. My grandfather worked for Ford, and so we used the Z-Plan quite a bit. And so my mom had, when I was born, she had a Ford Probe, the first-gen Ford Probe. It was manual, which was cool. She loved that car.
First-gen?
Had the pop-up headlights, and she liked it. Of course, inevitably, pop-up headlights failed, and then the engine started to have problems, and they had to get rid of that, of course. When I was born, they got a Ford Windstar, first-gen Ford Windstar, replaced that with a second-gen Windstar, which was much nicer than the first one.
Yeah, the second-gen Windstar was an okay car.
It was an okay car, and it was
the only good minivan Ford ever made.
Gold on tan.
Windstar.
Yeah, it was a surprisingly good car. My dad then had a Mercury, he had a Ford Taurus, then a Mercury Sable, and then he got into Subarus. He had a base Impreza. He wanted just to be able to, he had 2 or 3 criteria. Had to be all-wheel drive, had to be able to fit his skis, had to have heated seats. That was it. And so he got a base one with just a couple little options. That was like genuinely what he wanted. And then after that, then they switched to, my mom had a Honda Pilot after that, or we had 2 Odysseys and then a Pilot, and then they are now all on Subarus. They switched away from Ford
Right, they
altogether.
have like multiple Outbacks or Ascents or something?
Yeah, an Outback and an Ascent now. Yeah.
Damn, must be nice.
Yeah, but my whole life growing up, it was all Fords. It was all Fords.
My dad now drives, or my parents now have a 2005 Lexus RX 330 that is, as I think about it, only the 3rd car my dad has owned in my entire life.
Wow.
He had that 87 Camry until 98. That was 10 years. He had a 98 Camry until he bought the Lexus used. He bought the Lexus CPO in like 09. And he's had the Lexus for now 15 or 16 years.
Wow, your dad and I just keep cars for a long time.
Yeah.
That's just the way it works in our household.
Wow.
It was unusual growing up to be a car enthusiast in that world.
Yep. I only did because I had neighbors who were and turned me on to cars.
I know. That's why I think that there's still hope for my son, who's now 4 and doesn't care at all about my cars, is that you didn't get into cars until you were like 13.
10, yes, but yeah, that's right.
I was
come
like
later.
day one.
Me
Me
too.
Yeah.
And my parents didn't know what to do with it.
I also forgot our second garage, so just quickly, 65 Mustang, 67 Mustang, 54 Packard,
forgot the
a 30s
outbuilding.
Auburn, and a 39 Rolls Royce.
He forgot
But
the
other
Rolls
than
Royce,
those-
the Packard, and the two Mustangs. Hey man, been there. I tell you, sometimes I forgot
Well,
also.
it was
Also, the watercraft were in the way.
It was a detached garage. It was easy to forget about.
I forgot also, in addition to cars, my parents also had a 288 GTO they bought new. And
The 65 Mustang I worked on as in high school, though, that like really solidified it. Like, it was a lot of fun.
that really taught him. He said, move the Packard. I want to get to the Mustang. Get the Packard out of the way. And the new Jaguar. Okay, next question from F40RCK5. Hey, Doug, you said in your review of the EQS that it's better than the S-Class and you'd get one over an S-Class. Do you still stand by that, knowing the impression that driving an expensive luxury EV would give other car enthusiasts? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care at all what impression my car gives. I drive a Sequoia, okay? Have you seen that? Have you seen my convertible G-Wagon? I don't care at all the impression that the car gives to other car enthusiasts. I do stand by that. I think the EQS is a fantastic car. And it's even better now because used ones are amazing values. It drives beautifully. The only real complaint that people have about that car is the way it looks. Mm-hmm. And if you give me 25 grand less than an S-Class to be in an uglier car that drives the same, done deal. I know Nick would do that too. My cheapskate friend Nick, according to Huey.
Buying an S65
Okay.
from 2000. Both are off my radar.
Okay. Next question. Let's do 2 more.
Much like the second garage, I forgot to look at the questions in advance. So pick ones
That's
I can
fine.
improvise.
That's fine. You don't. That's better, honestly.
We'll do 3 more. They're all really quick, actually. EVs and clutch pedals. For Kennan, you're loaned a pristine, all expenses paid Ferrari F40 to use as a weekend car for the next 5 years. But the caveat is, you have to daily your M5, but when you're not driving it, your friends will be driving it and dirtying it and treating however they're used to treating cars. At a minimum, Doug will crash it into his house a time or 2. I crashed into my garage. Do you accept? Get an F40 for weekends, but I eat in your M5. I eat in it.
That's the thing. Nobody else would drive it or use it because they'd be too afraid of how angry I would be when I get it back, and I would assail them after that, which I could be very abusive.
I would eat in it. I got.
But you would make it. You would do like that Jeremy Clarkson thing when James lent him his F430 and he was like eating chocolate in it and threw a wrapper in it. You would do that to me.
I wouldn't do it to upset you, but I would do it because that's just how it's how we live.
I think
the kids would ride on it for sure. They would put the car seats in it. There would be
that
Cheez-Its.
would be
My
tough.
dogs.
That would
Nick's
be.
dogs.
Oh my God. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Oh my!
I know. I think. But then I could really one up both of you and show up everywhere in an F40.
Yeah, and I would show up to that same event in your E30 M5, and I would lick the steering wheel when I get there. I would lick it all the way.
I mean, you could sacrifice the M5.
The whole thing I would lick.
5 years of an F40 for 40 grand of a car, easy choice.
But remember, once it's licked, it can never be unlicked.
That's why. Actually, I probably should lock my car. You're looking at it.
Beep.
I don't. I think I don't know. Because you guys.
What was the other one he did?
Dude's insane.
That he shot himself on the foot?
The 993 Turbo S or his car.
Oh, yeah.
He went back
That's
and
right.
forth for
That's right.
his car at the end.
There should be zero thought required for this. There's
Right,
one
it's an
correct
F40 for weekends.
Yeah, but
so
you guys
some
would
people are
mess
going
it
to
up.
lick the car. You get an F40 for 5 years.
I think I probably would do that. I think I probably would drive the F40.
I would let someone crush my house for this.
I'm also worried that the F40 would be. I would just be so afraid. I've thought about I've never driven an F40.
Well, yeah,
but-
you'd be afraid, but it's paid for. All expenses paid. If you crash it, it's paid, apparently, according to this fella. Okay, next
probably
question. Next question from Cole ETC17. Doug, Kennan, Filippo, many auctions are not closing with a sale, implying that sellers are unrealistic with current market values. Does this imply the market is getting cooler? No. The sale rate is the same. There was a couple days that were a little lower, but there was also been a couple days that were a little higher, including today as the day we record this, which is Wednesday.
Yeah. Sold.
Yeah, no, sale rate's been the same. I don't think the market is cooling. I don't think the sellers are unrealistic with current market values generally any more than they usually are. Some higher dollar cars have missed recently, so that may be where this is coming from. Like, oh, the person saw this, but we also sold a bunch of higher dollar cars today. Anyway, point is, I think that is an unrealistic look at the carsandbids.com website. What did we sell today? Anything cool?
I agree. Unless your name is Tyler Hoovy, then yes, your selling price is unrealistic.
Drop that SLR to 113. Last question from Filippo signed to get an R8. Sadly, Filippo not here to get that sign. And I guarantee he won't watch this. In the recent years, we have seen Ferrari, because it's about car enthusiast cars.
Right.
He's not going to.
No, Filippo's.
In recent years, we have seen Ferrari moving more down market with the Roma and vehicles like that, and Lamborghini with the Urus. Do you believe that in the next decades, we will see companies like Bugatti, Koenigsegg, and Pagani go in the same direction? Yeah. I think that it's inevitable that eventually these companies at the very highest levels will try to make cars that are at slightly lower levels to get more people. And that's just kind of the way these companies work. They want to grow, they want to expand, they want to make more money, economies of scale. They will eventually do that. I'm not saying you're going to see a $200,000 Koenigsegg, but I wouldn't be entirely stunned if you saw $1 million Koenigsegg or a $900,000 Koenigsegg that was a lot more gettable for a lot of people. Bugatti maybe won't because they already have Lamborghini and occupying that space, whatever. But I think Koenigsegg and Pagani will eventually end up in there.
Every manufacturer does this. I mean, don't forget there was a time when Ferrari only made V12 cars. And then they came out with the Dino, and then the 30. Yeah, there was. And then they came out with the 308, and then they started that V8 line, and yes, and even like the Gordon Murray Academy, they have the T50 and then the T33, a little smaller.
There are still guys on Ferrari Chat, the real old timers on Ferrari Chat, who think like if a Ferrari doesn't have a 12-cylinder engine, it doesn't count. Like it's not a Ferrari.
Right, which of course is ludicrous. But they've won championships with like much smaller engines that aren't 12 cylinders.
In the minds of some of the old timers, it's 12 cylinders or walk, baby. Am I right? We're a couple of
And a
V12
manual.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, gated V12. That's how it was. That's how Enzo liked it when he was running away from elevators.
But that would preclude the F40, which is kind of a problem.
And the 288.
F40 is
Not a real
definitely a real
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
The F40, not a real Ferrari.
Not a real Ferrari, according to the old timers.
Right, they're very with it. I'm glad they're in charge.
They
of
only know the short-nosed two cams.
awful cars.
Okay, that's it. Do you guys agree with that take? Do you think there will be a cheap Pagani one day? As
Yeah.
cheap as an 800?
I think it would be more approachable models. Yes, I think that's true.
Eventually, what's going to happen to these companies, which is what happened to Ferrari and Lamborghini, the guy will die. The company will end up in the hands of some other company.
Private equity and,
Or Audi in the case of
Or
Lamborghini,
Audi.
or Fiat in the case of Ferrari, who is going to want to maximize the value of the brand. And so they will start taking this vaunted brand and trying to make it a little bit more accessible so they can make more money. It's just the way it works with this stuff. It happened with Porsche.
Yeah.
It happened with Maserati, et cetera.
Right.
I think what'll happen, Ford will resurrect the Premier Auto Group, buy all them up, and use them as halo cars to sell more Tauruses.
Oh, the Premier Auto Group.
Can always count on Nick to have a good callback.
He's calling it back because he's got the X-Type on his mind. He's thinking about his X-Type now.
It was cool. I think it got unfairly criticized as the Mondeo.
He's going to start lowballing people on
Oh,
Facebook
those are available. if they're
Those are
running.
available.
Yes.
Okay, that was our podcast for the week. It was our finest podcast ever.
Right.
Nick, do you have any parting thoughts?
Congrats on buying a car, and we're happy that you're back on cars.
Nobody bought any cars. However, if you got an Arena 993, I don't know how people can get in contact with me anymore. Sean will call me and be like, hey, someone just sent us a note. And it's like, where? How? He's like, do you want to do this or that? Or this happened? Or they sent us. If you find out how to get in contact with me and you have a 993 Turbo that's Arena Red.
Jeez. God, you damaged the box. You are just...
Oh, no.
Fine.
It's not a good omen. All right, goodbye, everyone. Thank you for watching our finest podcast ever.
Goodbye.
Bye.